I'm Iain McLeod. I'm from Energy Saving Trust, a technical manager in our Scottish transport team.
Okay, fab. So tell me everything I need to know about the Energy Saving Trust. What do you do? Where are you based? How does it work?
So we're based UK-wide. We have offices in Scotland, Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and we are involved in just a whole range of things to do with the transition to decarbonising the economy. We have programs involved in transport, so I am renewable energy, community programs, working on fuel poverty, things like that. We also have an international team now, which is involved in projects and like overseas supporting energy efficiency projects in like parts of Africa and South Asia and things like that. So just like a whole host of things. We provide advice, just pretty much anything, you name it, we're probably involved in it and got something involved in it in some way. So sort of specialists in providing advice. We're seen as expert and impartial, and we also provide a lot of funding. So we get, particularly in Scotland, the Scottish Government gives us a lot of funding to deliver a lot of its programs. So whether that is, as I say, advice programs or like hosting events, or actually providing funding, loans, grants, things like that to bring their agenda forward.
And you thought I wasn't going to come to you. Ha ha. I am. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the projects that you've run, I guess, more locally, either in Edinburgh, Glasgow, wider Scotland? What are some of the sort of low-hanging fruit that's been quite manageable to achieve, and I guess some of the larger challenges that you're still approaching or still coming to terms with?
I guess a lot of the successes we've had has been through our low carbon transport loan. So we have been running this for quite a long time now, and it provides zero interest loans to previously businesses, but also domestic users as well, and that's really helped boost the numbers of electric vehicles across Scotland. And I know we spoke a little bit about in the talk we had earlier about some of the difficulties being general perceptions of EVs and chargers. It seems really difficult to break a lot of people's opinions on what they are and how accessible they are. So that's the main difficulty I think we've been facing for years and will face again in the future.
How do you deal with some of those difficulties then? Like you said, it's all about perception, how people perceive things, how they understand that they can access them or fund them. How do you get to those hard to reach people or communities that genuinely don't know the grants, the funding that might be out there to help them? And how do you sort of liaise between the private sector and the public sector?
Easy
question.
You're absolutely right. That is one of the key challenges. We have all these services that we provide, but it's getting them to the right people. So I mentioned earlier, people in like fuel poverty, they're not necessarily the most kind of like online people, and that is a big part of like how we try to reach people is through our digital advice. And it is difficult. We have lots of events and things like that. We'll try and make sure we have a presence. There's like perhaps community events where we have the funding to do these things. We'll try and get out to these places, actually sort of have a presence in the community. We do have actually 5 advice centres based around Scotland, which have like call centres that deal directly with people in some of these things. So people who are more comfortable with that can just pick up a phone and get in touch with people that way. So that's one of the things, and just through the standard channel, social media channels, things like that. We have a website, and printing. We don't actually have any here with us today, but we often have stuff to hand out, things like this.
Things like this.
Here's
one I made earlier.
Yeah. Who needs business cards when you have Jack holding a sign that says Energy Saving Trust? Exactly.
Very cool. Okay, one final question. Today's Earth Day. What one bit of advice would you give to somebody who wants to make a more sustainable change in their life? They don't know where to begin. They don't know what to do. It might even be getting on the road to net zero. What would you say to them?
One thing you can do, I think, I guess the biggest individual things I think you can do are related to try and, really cut down on meat, and dairy. If you can go as plant-based as you can, that's a huge thing. Our cars, driving is one of the biggest things, so that's obviously what we're involved a lot in. Flying is another big. Those are probably if you were to make individual changes in your life that are, out with like being able to completely retrofit your house, those are probably within reach for a lot of us. But then after that, it's just about the best thing you can do is try to spread the word. So try to become more active, more engaged, speak to people, get involved with people, and just try to be part of trying to build that movement and drive that shift in the national mindset.
And you, good sir?
Learn what you can do on a bus. A lot of people get worried that the bus journey takes longer than a car journey, but that's a whole load of time that you could be doing something else. You could be reading a book, you could be doing a bit of work, you could be making phone calls. Public transport isn't wasted time. You can do a lot more on a bus than you can do in a car. That would be mine.
If I could clap for you whilst holding the mic, I would. And I think also people finding parking in Edinburgh or in Glasgow is the bane of everybody's life. So actually, if you factor in the time that you'd be parking into the bus journey, you're actually saving hours.
Exactly. Or cycling. You can listen to things, there's so much you can do while you're traveling, and it can really help make these journeys a lot more easy if you're finding it difficult to transition off from petrol or diesel vehicles.